This is the story of first date jitters. I had just downloaded my first lesbian dating app and was very unenthusiastic about the options of women in my area. However, I did finally match with one girl named Caitlin. She had short brown boyish hair, joyful eyes, and the most amazing smile. She was 24 and lived only a few miles away from me, so it was a great match. I messaged her first and we started talking. We very quickly realized we were definitely interested in each other and decided to exchange our phone numbers. I called her for the first time on FaceTime and my opening line was, "Oh wow, you're so cute," which was not the best opening line. However, it was the one I chose. We talked nonstop for all night and the following day until I had briefly mentioned to her that I had just moved to Arizona and that I needed a tour guide. She decided that she was going to take me out on a date. Pretty much immediately during this conversation, she was going to come pick me up and take me to a tiny restaurant she used to go to when she was younger. I panicked as she hung up and said she was on her way because I had not mentally prepared for a date yet, and called my best friend in a panic and had her help me pick out what to wear, considering the fact that I had just moved to Arizona less than 2 weeks ago. I did not have a majority of my clothes unpacked yet, so I had very limited options and ended up going with a t-shirt and pair of shorts to fit the somewhat casual date that we were going to be going on. I sat on the phone with my best friend for a few minutes talking about how nervous I was to go on my first date with a woman until I finally got that loud shrieking ding from my phone with a message saying that she was here. I ran outside into her silver SUV and had her pull away almost immediately. I barely gave her time to introduce herself and make a formal greeting. But I wasn't out to my parents yet and could not let them see a fairly masculine presenting female picking me up to go to dinner, because they would have a lot of questions that I wouldn't be able to answer yet. We got to the restaurant and she got out of the car to hold my door open for me, just like a perfect gentleman would. This was my very first impression of her, seeing her head to toe, was that she was a lot shorter than me, which I wasn't really expecting. However, she had this confidence when she walked and how just the way she held herself and could command a room. That was amazing. We sat outside underneath the misters in the Arizona June heat, and she told me to wait as she went to find a waiter. I immediately pulled out my phone and started texting my best friend about how nervous I was. And she tried to calm me down about and explain how I should be more excited than I was nervous. But I really wanted this date to go well. I saw her walking back out and I flipped over my phone and I could just hear the vibrations going off from my best friend's text, her probably assuming I had died because I stopped answering her. We placed our order, and when the food got there, it was only more apparent how nervous I was, because I was trying to pick up spoonfuls of rice and all of it was falling off of my fork because I was shaking so badly. She finally noticed this and decided that she was going to help try and calm me down by telling me to take a deep breath and then entertaining me with a few stories and telling me not to worry about any talking for a bit. We ended up talking for several hours to the point where we hadn't realized that the restaurant had already closed about half an hour ago and that there was no one around us other than the two waiters staring at us, waiting for us to leave. We apologized for keeping them there so late and picked up our stuff and walked back to the car. We decided we weren't quite done with our date and that she was going to drive me around and show me all of the soccer and baseball fields around the area that she used to play at when she was younger. We parked eventually at a park to continue just talking since we were done driving, and this park later became our spot. It was our go-to destination every time we hung out. We again talked for several hours until finally she decided it was time to take me home. And that's when my nerves worked up again, because at the end of the date would be the best time for a first kiss, and I had never yet kissed a woman. So my heart was beating out of my chest with nerves on if she was finally gonna kiss me. We pulled up to my driveway and we said our polite goodbyes about how much fun we had had and how we look forward to doing it again. And I sat and waited just a few moments to see if she would kiss me, and she didn't. So I decided it was finally time, and I got out of my car and ran up the driveway, through my house, into my bedroom, face down in a pillow, and screamed. I was so beyond excited about how well that first date went, even though she hadn't kissed me. We continued talking nonstop on the phone for the next few days, and she finally, one night after getting off work, decided that she didn't want to go home and wanted to come sneak me out of my house. I agreed, and at around midnight, she pulled up to my house, and I snuck out, walked through my house out the back gate, and we went back to our spot that we had gone to on our first date. We listened to music and sang at the top of our lungs for several hours, along with talking nonstop. At one point, she finally had worked up the courage to kiss me, and it was a kiss straight out of a movie scene where there's like fireworks going off in the background and everything slows down around you and nothing matters other than the kiss. It was also the very first moment I realized that women are so much better than men, in my opinion. It's amazing to think that since the past few months that I've talked to her and that has happened, that I have finally been able to come out as a lesbian to my entire family and all of my friends and publicly talk about that, as well as even go to my first Pride parade yesterday. And it is all thanks to Caitlin and our amazing first date.